phones. You're not selling anything.
The Fed's not done, and I'm going to tell you why.
Welcome back to Sean's show, everyone. This is episode 88. I'm here with George. Hello. Let's give it up for George, everybody. And it's a very special episode. George and I were just celebrating. We took some shots earlier because the 51st state has a new prime minister. The 51st state of America, Canada, has a new senator, has a new puppeteer. No, Canada. I didn't know. I guess Canada had an election. I hope you're having a good week. My parents are in town, and my mom's more up to date on the news than I am, which is bad because I'm supposed to be like tapped into the news. But she was like, "Did you hear Canada has a new president?" And I'm like, "I don't follow Canada. I don't pay attention to that country." But apparently they have a new prime minister. I think I believe he ran on an anti-Trump platform and he won pretty handily. And so we're going to watch in a little bit. We'll watch a little bit of his victory speech. But I guess what I'd like to say, I'm starting with this because, I have mixed feelings on Canada. I think I've talked about Canada in the past. I like Canada. I like it, but I also hate. I have a love-hate relationship with Canada because Canada is like a utopia. Like truly, Canada. I've been there many times. I've been to like rural Canada, and what's incredible about Canada is they don't have a lot of crime. Like they don't have a lot of crime. They have beautiful nature. You can go hiking. You can go to like a coffee shop, and you can, it's like I've said it before. It's like Diet America. It's like everything America is, the good and the bad. Canada is that to a lesser extent, which means that like you get, all the negative things are not as bad in Canada. Like if you get hurt, you can go and get your leg fixed, and they no questions asked. And that to me as an American, I'm almost offended by that, like of how good the healthcare is. I'm almost like, well, what's the catch? That's how traumatized Americans are. Is like when I was in Canada, my friends, they were showing me around. I was like, so let me get this straight. When I'm in Canada and I hurt myself, I go to the doctor and they just fix me, and then they just like send me on my way, and they're like, yeah, of course. And I'm like, well, what do they like assault me? Like, what's the catch? Like, what's the catch? There's no catch. The real catch though is you live in a country where there's no culture. The only culture that's come out of Canada in the last 30 years is Drake. So that's the catch, is like you don't get any, like it's just like and it's just there's so many rules. I think maybe I'm like damaged, but I really think I'd rather live in America and be killed in a mass shooting than live in a country where like I have to stop at every stop sign. Like in Canada, you have to stop at every stop sign, and you have to like they love rules. They love rules. They love rules for the sake of rules. And like and you would think I've like, I'm undiagnosed autistic. You would think I would love rules too. I'm not that kind. I don't like rules like that. I was like, but it's just, and again, if you're listening to this from Canada, like just turn it. I don't want you as a fan. I'm not going to tour in Canada. The whole country of Canada, you can just kind of write it. I don't know. Maybe. And again, I'm going to run there. By the way, I'm escaping to Canada very soon. Once America really gets once America kind of tips over, I think we're going to see a lot of immigration to Canada from America. But for now, let's watch. I guess his name's Carney. I don't know. I'm not really into Canadian politics, but he won. He won. So we have to let's pull up his victory speech, and let's see what our friend Carney has to say. You probably have no idea I didn't know who this guy was, but I guess he won. And there's a funny. Let's jump to like 5 minutes, George. We can take a look. there's some fun stuff that he says around like 5 minutes.
And I will make more. But I commit to admitting them openly, to correcting them quickly, and always learning from them.
Oh, could you go back to like 450?
Over my long... that's not an applause line, it's just a statement of fact.
He's like a comic.
Over my long career, I have made many mistakes, and I will make more.
Not what you want to hear. Not what you want. Bad. Can you pause it? Bad victory speech, Carney. I don't know you, but that's like the first thing I heard out of your mouth. What if, imagine electing someone and he goes, I've made many mistakes in my career. And you know what, everyone? I'm going to make a whole lot more. Woo! That's what Canada, it's like so, they're so honest and they're so like apologetic. It's like they need a little like, again, I'm a Brooklyn libtard and I think he's a pussy. Like I'm left and I think like, I look at this guy, I'm like, you're a pussy, dude. Like have some confidence. You're the Prime Minister of Canada. And he's like, look, man, I'm going to make a whole lot more I made some mistakes and I'm going to make a whole lot more. We are Canada strong. I don't know. Let's keep watching.
From them.
They clap that.
Humility underscores the importance of governing as a team in cabinet and in caucus, and working constructively with all parties across Parliament.
All right, let's not get too excited.
With the provinces and the territories, and with Indigenous peoples. And at this time, it underscores the value of bringing together labor, business, civil society to advance the nation-building investments we need to transform our economy. Humility.
Could you full screen us, George? Let's get. I want to get this guy in big
one of the
pixels. Beautiful.
Is to prepare for the worst, not hope for the best.
What the? What? Can you pause it? What the fuck is this? What is wrong with this? What is wrong with Canada? What is wrong with Canada? He goes, you know, first of all, thank you for electing me as your new prime minister. I've made an incredible amount of mistakes throughout my career. I'm like, also, what mistakes, Carney? What like hold on, like how many mistakes have you made? And again, that's why I'm telling you guys, this is everything. This is Diet America. Canada, it's like a whole ecosystem. Even the politicians are like Diet American politicians because they reverse. They're like the opposite of America in a sense where it's like an American politician would never admit that they made a mistake, or they would. You would never, Democrat, Republican, you would never hear an American politician go, "I've made a lot of mistakes in my career, and I'm gonna make a whole lot more." Like they would never ever say that. And Canadians are almost like they're too humble. They're like me, like me in a court. You know when you're like in like a corporate setting. Like there's this thing in corporate America where it's like you email someone and you're like, no worries if not. You're like not that assertive. Canadian politicians are not assertive. And that's actually a good thing for us Americans because when we are fleeing America, they're going to have to take us. We're going to be running from fascism, and the Canadians will be like, hey, like we actually can't take 100,000. We actually can't take 1 million Americans. We don't have the infrastructure. We'll be like, we're coming. And they'll be like, okay, come on in. Thank you. And that's going to be a very interesting time. It's going to be very interesting when Americans become the refugees. That may not happen in our lifetime. I don't know. Like, we don't know the way. Again, I feel like people forget how quickly fascism spread in Nazi Germany. I mean, like it was a period of like, I don't know. I think Hitler went to jail and then he got out of jail and then grabbed power. And it was like over a period of like less than 10 years from Germany becoming I would say, a civil society, reasonable democratic civil society plunging into fascism. So if that happens in America, there's going to be, Canada may build a wall. There may be a conservative politician in Canada that builds a wall. And I'll tell you what, Americans are not good at climbing walls. We're fat. We go to Dunkin' Donuts. We're not going to climb walls. We're not good at swimming or climbing. It's going to be bad. If we try to get into Canada. Can we actually go to the beginning of this guy's speech? I want to see if he does, I want to see if he does a land acknowledgement. I'm sorry, I usually do land acknowledgements at the start of Sean's show. I didn't this time. Let's see if he does a land acknowledgement.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Bonsoir. Oh, quel bonsoir. C'est une bonne bonsoir. I have a question.
Bonjour.
Who's ready? Who's ready? Who's ready to stand up for Canada with me? And who's ready? Who's ready to build Canada strong? Okay, we got that settled. That's good.
They're like not excited at all.
Je voudrais féliciter les autres chefs de parti de leur campagne et de tout le travail qu'ils ont fait. Je les remercie pour leur service envers le Canada, maintenant et dans le futur. I want to thank the leaders of the other parties. I want to salute the contribution of Jagmeet Singh.
What kind of salute? Be careful! Careful with that word,
Leading on progressive
Carney.
values.
Can you I honestly, this would be great. I would pay so much money if this guy did a fucking Nazi salute at this. That would be insane. I mean, he won't. He's like, he's a liberal prime minister, but that would be so crazy if he goes up there and he goes, this, some elections matter, but this one was a big one. Oh, like he's from bonjour, and he fucking salutes it. I don't know. I'm just bored. I'm bored. Maybe that's the reason I don't pay attention to Canada. I'm bored. Everyone there, it's a boring. Ultimately, Canada is a boring country, and it's good. It's a good, and that's what I think people truly. I don't know. I'm struggling to put it into words, but people they don't understand that yes, we all think that we want a utopia. But go to Canada and you will realize that you don't want utopia. You want a little bit of suffering. You want a little bit of, you need a challenge. Humans need a challenge to fight against. You need an adversary. You need an enemy, whether your enemy is fighting poverty or fighting a broken healthcare system. Those are the things. Truly, America is a great country because our healthcare system is broken. If everything was good, then you would just be this guy. You would just be like, all right, I guess we're going to do another election. What's the point? I don't know. There was a, could you cut back to me, George? There's another story about Canada. I know, I don't want to be too Canada heavy. Let's do this story. This is kind of a sad story. It's actually not a utopia. Canada, it's the second story. Canada may be becoming more like America. This is a sad one. I'm sorry to bring this up. It's a sad one. A car rammed into a Filipino festival in Vancouver. And it is my responsibility as a comedian to make this funny. And I will do that right now. I will try. A 5-year-old, this is just sad. I think, can you scroll down? I think how many people died in this? As members of the Lay family headed out to enjoy the music, food, and camaraderie at a Filipino heritage festival in Vancouver, their 15-year-old son decided to stay home and finish homework. Always a bad decision. Then the news, except for this case, then the news broke a car plowing through the crowd. And yeah, could you scroll? I think, yeah. A car. So Canada's not all great. There's a guy, they still have crazies. There's still the crazies out there doing crazy shit. The black Audi SUV. He's driving an Audi? Who rams through a crowd in an out? Like, your life's not that, surely your life isn't that bad. Who, that's this guy. I know the type of person that drives an Audi SUV, and it just surprises me that, like, they would ram through a crowd. Like usually the cars, usually it's like a Chevy or a Ford, or a Ram. That's like, I mean, that's like, to me, is almost like driving like a Lambo. Like, imagine a Lambo like plowing. It's just not something you really imagine. You're like, you're gonna drive a Bugatti into a crowd? It's like, bro, like, what are you throwing away everything? Like, I mean, give me the Audi. You're gonna drive it. How about you sell the Audi and just, I don't know, take a vacation. And that's the thing about Canada, is like, they have rules, you know, but the rules don't insulate them from terrorism. They don't insulate them from, like, you're always just going to have crazy people. And, you know, okay, here's what I wanted to get to. Canadians are, when you go to Canada as an American, Canadians are very entitled, and they think that America is like we're savages. Like they think that we're like these, like, you know, they think that we're all like, you know, Republicans from Alabama that like fuck our cousin, and like we're all like, and we like are like obsessed with violence. And Canadians think that like they're this enlightened, they think that they're like this enlightened group of people that are like all about nonviolence. But, you know, then shit like this happens. Then you get like a car plowing through a festival in Vancouver, and it's like, you guys are not immune to humanity. You're not immune to humanity. And that's my whole point, is it's like just shut the fuck up for it. Like I feel like you got, like, you're not better. Canadians are not better than everyone else. We're all equal. And that's what pisses me off about Canadians, is like, Canadians really think that they're better than everyone. And I think it comes from France. And I know it's bad because I'm a white guy. I'm saying a lot of different nationalities. And when a white guy starts to say a lot of nationalities, it's bad. But I think that the Canadian entitlement comes from the fact that it was a French colony. Because if you go to France, I've never been, but I've heard France is very entitled as well. So you get, it's this European colonial entitlement. And I'm hoping that Carney will change that. But that's enough on Canada. I don't want to talk too much about Canada. I just lost all my Canadian listeners. If I had any. I think I had a few people I can see the analytics of who listens. Don't think I don't know who's listening, by the way. Let's move on to a more fun story. Meanwhile, in Arizona, this is you know, this is actually a bigger tragedy than the car plowing, the Audi plow. There's actually a bigger, this is all bad news this week. Worse than the Audi plowing into a festival in Vancouver, a speedboat, people driving a speedboat, they almost lost their lives. That is a worse story. So a speedboat goes airborne and spins in the air while trying to break a speed record in Arizona. So I think we have a video. I found the video. Yeah, this is the video. Let's take a look at this video real quick. So if you're just listening, it's a boat going fast. It catches a lot of air. I mean, it catches a lot of air. And it crashes pretty dramatically into the water. And this is white people hobbies. This is like what white people do in their spare time. If we should find this out, if the people in this speedboat are not white, I will commit suicide live on the show. There is no way that the people in that boat are not white. If that's not true, then I don't know. Then I shouldn't even be talking into a mic. But this is called the white people, and they lived, and I don't have any sympathy for these people. I have zero. Everyone's like, oh my God, thank God they lived. No, it's a tragedy they survived. You understand? I mean, the boat flipped. Like anyone that's trying to break a speedboat record, I don't even want you to. I want you to die before you get in the boat. You understand? Let's take a look at this article. I want to read more on this because I mean it's ridiculous. This is what makes America America. You would never see this in Canada. You would never see the thing is, in America, we flagrantly disobey rules. In Canada, you can't even own a speedboat. In Canada, you can't even own property. No, I'm kidding. You can own a house. But let's see. The speedboat's drivers using the pseudonyms John Wayne, oh God, and Clint Eastwood. I love how they just get to have pseudonyms and they're not going to get arrested. Were attempting to break the record of 206 miles per hour at Saturday's 2025 Desert Storm Shootout, Jesus Christ, boating event, where their Skater 388 was filmed suddenly taking flight on Lake Havasu. Now, that's a sentence I never thought I would read. The boat suddenly flew straight up in the air, slamming back down into the water after flipping several times in front of horrified onlookers. How can you? I would be you mean delighted, right? You mean delighted onlookers? I would be delighted. I'm literally wishing anyone going 206 miles an hour in a speedboat has a death wish. And I also have a death wish for them. I also have stop it. Could you keep scrolling down? I mean, it's like, I don't, let's see. They came to Lake Havasu earlier in the week, intending to break the record here in the Desert Storm Shootout. That was their first pass of the day, and when they went over, the radar picked them up at going 200.1. So they didn't even break the record. They are racers with Freedom One Racing, based out of Kansas City, Missouri. Oh, okay. I think I know what race they are. And these are Klan members. These are Klan members that were trying to race. This is what white they go to. They're Klan. They're in Missouri. They're in Kansas City. I've been to KC. I like Kansas City. They're probably Klan members. They're probably in the Klan outfits in the speedboat. It's like a Scooby-Doo movie. It's like a Scooby-Doo episode. You have people in the Klan outfits in a speedboat racing. First of all, why do they get to use pseudonyms? Like, you clearly know, like, why do they get to they're just immune to the law? This is not I don't know. There's no way that this was sanctioned. Further dramatic video shows inside the cockpit the moment of impact, as shared by Freedom One Racing on Facebook. Can we watch inside the cockpit? Let's click on. I want to see this video. I don't know why I'm so interested in this. Okay. Oh, here we go. If you're just listening, I'm going to describe it. So they film. This is how, again, I'm not trying to be like, quote, like, I'm not trying to be woke, but like, this is racist. I don't know why, but I feel like speedboating feels racist. Okay, let's watch. So if you're just listening, honestly, I was right. It's two white guys. And they have, they're filming themselves. Oh, here we go. Oh my God, this is so cool. So they're driving in the speedboat. I don't know why you even have a wheel. You're just going straight. There's no reason to have a wheel. Why is that other guy in there? Why do you don't need two guys for this. That other guy's just in there, okay, 50 miles an hour, 70, 90, 130, It's 170. Here we go. Oh, they broke it. 209.
3, 2, 1. Cheese.
I don't know what that was. So they catch air. Oh, that it autoplayed the next video. I thought, okay, ignore that. 3, 2, 1 cheese. So the video shows them flipping over, and I'm happy to say that America is great again, officially, folks. We have speedboats flipping over. This is Trump's America. Speedboats flipping over. Truly, I wish they had died. Truly, I wish that they had died in the crash, because what they're doing is not valuable to society. And speedboating is uninteresting. And that's the real tragedy is that they survived. Okay. Let's see what's next. We got what's next on our list, George? I have so much news to cover. So much. Okay, yeah, here's a good one. Let's go back to the DC. Let's go east to Washington D.C. Trump, and before I get into this story, I really think Trump, like, this is the thing. Trump, these billionaire technology entrepreneurs, they don't believe anything. They don't have belief. They want power. You know what I mean? They don't believe things. And I want to give my take on this story, which I think is interesting, and I think Jeff Bezos is playing it in a very, very calculated way. But the headline is, Amazon denies tariff label plans after White House criticism. So if you're just, this is like a new story as of today, but basically there were rumors circulating that Amazon and Jeff Bezos were going to add a line item on Amazon that was basically like the Trump tariff. So like when you go and you buy stuff off Amazon, Amazon would show you, hey, here's how much extra this is going to cost. A lot of businesses are doing this. You know, if you've seen them all over, you see all over the country, businesses are now adding on your receipt, they're adding like import tariff or whatever. And so to try and explain why the costs of products and services are going up so much. Now, interestingly enough, Amazon is reversing course, saying that never was the plan. And what's interesting about this is that if you'll recall, Jeff Bezos had a front row seat at Trump's inauguration, as did Elon Musk, as did Mark Zuckerberg, as did our friend, I think Sam Altman was there. I don't know. And by the way, a lot of the biggest comedians. Okay, I don't want to talk too much shit. A lot of the biggest comedians were present at Trump's inauguration. Isn't that funny? Isn't it funny that comedians were at a politician's inauguration? I'm going to talk my shit. I don't give a fuck anymore. A lot of comedians were at Trump's inauguration, and it's, I mean, again, we're a tribe, but we're not really a tribe. Like, a lot of comedians are like, we're a tribe. I'm like, I don't want to be in a tribe with a lot of you. Okay? I'm an island. I'm like on Epstein's island. I'm kidding. I'm not on Epstein's island. I'm on a different island. But it's tough. It's like, you know, you see, to me, like, I don't want to get preachy. It's hard. It's tough. It's a tough issue because I don't want to dictate how other people live their lives. People can do whatever they want. And I'm not going to be I don't want to be this preachy guy on this moral high ground because I'm a fucking asshole. My dad's a landlord. I'm not like a good person. I'm not a good person, you know? And I'll be real. If I was invited to Trump's inauguration, I would go, but only so that I could poison someone. If you are a comedian at Trump's inauguration, you should be going there with the intention to secretly poison a billionaire. That's the only reason you should be, or like, I don't know, at least doing a bit. Go there with a sneaky intention. Go there to troll. At least go there and troll. But anyway, back to, I mean, it's just, ugh. If I ever let me say this. If this show ever, I want you guys to hold me accountable. All 90 of you, all 90 fentanyl addicts that are listening to this. I want you to hold me accountable. If I ever interview Mark Zuckerberg on my show, just put a bullet in my head. Find me, unless I'm a father. If I'm not a father if I ever interview Mark Zuckerberg, just at least DM me and be like, hey man, you sold out. Interviewing Mark Zuckerberg is bad. If you're gonna interview Mark Zuckerberg, I mean you cannot call yourself a comedian. I don't know, I'm just speaking from my heart. It really is hard for me to accept that so many comedians are interviewing the socio-political elite and they're not even being adversarial about it. You can talk to whoever the fuck you want, and I want to keep it real. I would never want someone to dictate how I do my show. So I'm not going to dictate how other people do their shows. But you can't have it both ways. You cannot be a voice that fights against the deep state or the political or the wealthy or the billionaires, and also simultaneously fist bump them on your show. And that's what a lot of podcasting has become, unfortunately, in 2025. It's a lot of A-list comics, and they sit down with Mark Zuckerberg, and they go, Mark, you own Hawaii, right? You own Hawaii. You're going to sit down with a guy that is the architect of the Panopticon, the designer of the social media prison. You're going to sit, let me get this straight. You're a comedian. You're going to sit down with the guy who's the architect of the digital prison that we all now live in. And you're going to be like, Mark, I've always wondered, are you an ass guy or a tits guy? Tits or ass? And you're just sitting there with an actual lizard robot psychopath. You're going to sit down with a billionaire psychopath and you're going to ask him if he's an ass guy or a tits guy. By the way, I know Mark Zuckerberg is a tits guy. He's a fucking frat bro loser. I know that. I know that. And if he says ass guy, he's a liar. Everyone knows ass men are trustworthy. They like punk rock. They smoke weed. Mark Zuckerberg is a tits guy. He likes tits. It's outdated. It's played out. And so anyway, I guess it's just me. Anyway, my point is, if I ever interview Mark Zuckerberg and I'm not adversarial, like just literally, I want you to turn the show off because I've sold the fuck out. It's like I really just, we have to move on, but it's just, I'm sorry I'm on this for such a long time, but it's like, have some fucking balls. Doesn't anyone have any fucking balls anymore? I'm not even like, I'm just like, have some fucking balls. If I had Mark Zuckerberg on my show, you know what I would say? Who the fuck do you think you are, bitch? That's the thing is like, if you say that, he's going to be like, all right, bye. Like, you can't be like, so Mark, who the fuck do you think you are? I would say, so Mark, what's it like being a monopolist? What's it like coordinating anti-competitive strategies to make Facebook and Meta a monopoly? What's that like? What's it like lobbying the government so that, what's it like bribing politicians to prevent the regulation of your business? And what's it like to pretend to stand for free market capitalism and innovation when in reality you're a political oligarch? What's that like? Also, are you a tits guy or an ass guy? I've always Mark, I would do both. Like, you have to just, that's fine if you want to have him on. If you want to have him on the show, that's fine. I'm not going to condemn you for that. But if you're only going to throw him softballs then you're a fucking pussy. I'm sorry. Let's just throw all of these assholes softballs. So everyone in the comments can be like, I didn't know Mark Zuckerberg was a tits guy. Fuck you. I didn't know LOL, I thought Mark Zuckerberg would be an ass guy. He's actually a tits guy. He's an oligarch, dumbass. And I'm not trying, it's just like, whatever. Anyway, Amazon. So Jeff, speaking of people that were at Trump's inauguration, Jeff Bezos, who was there and is now potentially at having a little bit of a spat with the Trump administration by using this as sort of a way to call out the Trump tariffs. Because here's my take on what's happening behind the scenes, right? You have Amazon, a rumor, which could be false, but you have a rumor about Amazon adding a new thing where it's like, hey, by the way, the reason this toaster costs $68 or like $680 is because of the Trump tariff. Just FYI. That was the rumor. And now what you have is the Trump administration reacting to that and saying, hey, if you do that, Amazon, that's fucked up. And then now Amazon is backpedaling. So let's take a look at the story here. Amazon has said Tuesday it will not display the cost of U.S. tariffs on products after the White House blasted the reported move as President Trump called Jeff Bezos to complain. Okay. Quote, the team that runs our ultra low cost Amazon Hall store has considered the idea of listing import charges on certain products. Teams discuss ideas all the time. This was never a consideration for the main Amazon site and has nothing has been implemented on any Amazon properties. I don't know about that. That sounds like a lie. The White House earlier on Tuesday seized a Punchbowl News what is this? Basically, a news story broke that they would potentially be listing the tariffs. See, the thing is, I don't see what's wrong with listing the tariffs. That's like, what are you gonna and here's the problem with this this administration, but all politicians. They think people are fucking stupid. Like, whether or not, you understand, whether or not Amazon lists the tariff, it's going to cost $180 for a toaster. People are going to put two and two together and be like, why is it $180? Is it just going to be bundled into a little line item that says extra charges? What is it? Shipping and handling? It's going to be shipping and I guess it's going to be packed. I guess the 200, whatever it is now, the 104% tariff from China is going to be packaged into the shipping and handling line item when you buy something. Why is shipping and handling more than the product's price itself? Oh, well, that's just the way it is now. Shipping and handling is more, folks. This is my first ad ever. Shipping and handling has never been more expensive, thanks to Trump tariffs. We're sponsored by Trump tariffs. Could you scroll down a little bit? I want to see if there's any more meat on this story. So Howard Lutnick, who is the secretary of something or other. This is a political show. I'm really bombing right now. Howard Lutnick, can you click on him? I'm pretty sure he's the Secretary of Commerce. Let's see if I got that right. Yep. Okay. So Howard Lutnick retweeted this saying, good move. And so Bloomberg came out and said, Amazon says it was never under consideration to display the cost of tariffs on products on its main website. And then Howard Lutnick, who's in the Trump administration, he's the Secretary of Commerce, retweeted that story and said, good move. As in, like, yeah, bitch, you better not. Basically, he's saying, yeah, bitch, you better fucking not display the tariffs. But it's like, Howard, are you you're a dumbass, bro. Displaying, whether or not the tariff is displayed, the price is the price. Am I stupid? Am I crazy? Is this a crazy thing to say? You think Americans are just going to be like, oh, well, as long as you didn't say that, you didn't list out what part of this cost is the tariff, people are going to know it's the tariff. Am I crazy? But I am crazy. I am and that's my problem. I overestimate how smart people are. I overestimate this. Could you scroll down? This is interesting. Companies like Temu, my favorite company, we are sponsored. I would sell out to get sponsored by Temu. I love Temu. I don't know why. The Chinese. I'm a Chinese spy, by the way. Companies like Temu and fast fashion giant Shein are bracing for a 120% tariff on many of their products due to the U.S. government's decision to end de minimis exemption for small packages from China and Hong Kong. Temu has thrived in part thanks to duty-free shipments on goods valued under $800. And that's the thing. The administration, they're not even applying the tariff evenly. They're giving special exemptions to Apple. They gave a special exemption. The administration is giving special exemptions based on how much political capital, based on the political mood or the dynamic of that company and how that company engages with the administration. And that's called corruption. That's called favoritism. That's called a swamp. That's pretty swampy. It's pretty swampy to have specialized exemptions for tariffs. I think. I don't know. Sounds to me like you're favoring certain businesses over other ones. Doesn't seem fair. Oh, you know what we'll watch next, George? There's a video. So you might be wondering, these tariffs, they seem pretty serious. Let's watch the video about how China is reacting. Because China is not. This is a video that should scare every American and Canadian, to be honest. Let's take a look. China is not backing down. Let's watch.
Heard of the eye of the storm? It appears calm for a moment, but is actually a deadly trap. The calm before an even fiercer storm.
Scary.
The U.S. has stirred up a global tariff storm and deliberately targeted China, playing a 90-day pause game with other nations, forcing them to limit trade with China. This is just like the deadly trap of the eye of the storm. Bowing to a bully is like drinking poison to quench thirst. It only deepens the crisis. The U.S. once accused Japan of dumping semiconductors and crushed companies like Toshiba. Later, it forced Japan to sign the Plaza Accord, pushing the economy into decades of anemic growth. The U.S. also used long-arm jurisdiction as a weapon, breaking up France's industrial giant Alstom, robbing the country of a national champion. History has proven compromise won't earn you mercy. Kneeling only invites more bullying. China won't kneel down, because we know standing up for ourselves keeps the possibility of cooperation alive, while compromise snuffs it out. China won't back down, so the voices of the weak will be heard. Bullying will be stopped. And justice will not disappear from the world. All bullies are just paper tigers. The U.S. does not represent the entire world. Trade makes up less than a fifth of the world's total. When the rest of the world stands together in solidarity, the U.S. is just a small, stranded boat.
Can you? That's bad. China called us a small, stranded boat. That's scary. That's not good. China called us a small, and I don't even know if these numbers are right. And by the way, this whole video could be propaganda. But again, all media is propaganda. My show is propaganda, right? But I don't, depending. This is sort of an aside. There's a really good book. I forgot the author, but it's a book called Propaganda by I think a guy named Ed Bernays. But he was an advertising executive, and his definition of propaganda is very interesting. Basically, he says that there's, not all propaganda is like necessarily like evil. You've got like my show is, I'm kidding. No, my show is propaganda for my brand. which is just a business, an entertainment business. And in that sense, it's a very interesting book because he describes how I definitely recommend you read it if you can read. I'm really mean to you guys. The book is interesting because he describes all media as propaganda, and it's true because if you think about it, every piece of media exists to persuade you of something, and in that sense, the show is propaganda. But this video, I don't know if it's AI. I don't know, but I don't know if the numbers are right. I don't know any. I've not fact checked any of it, but they said that that the United States is only a fifth of global trade. Now, I don't know if that number is right or not. And I'm not, this is not an anti-American show. I like America. I like it way more than Canada for sure. But China is not, we are a very young nation in comparison to China. China's been around for 5,000 years or more. China's older than Jesus Christ. We're not even older than we're like Scientology. The American ideology is like Scientology. China is like Buddhism and fucking like rice and wheat and they've been around forever. Math. They made gunpowder, I think. I'm a very knowledgeable person. They invented a bunch of shit. The United States, we're like a little baby boy. China is like an old man, an old wise man. And the US, we're a little angry toddler with a gun. That's like what we are. The United States is an angry, spoiled, fucking trust fund brat with a gun. And we want cookies. And the rest of the world is like, you've had enough cookies. And then we're like, fuck you. Give me a fucking fuck you. And China's being very strategic, and the thing is, to tie it all together, yes, Trump is trying to negotiate stronger peace deals, stronger trade deals for America, and I'm sure that there are areas within I'm sure that there are certain agreements where America is getting fucked. Now, the way to go about it is not to raise. I don't think this is not a good way to negotiate, because China is going to. They are not going to give up manufacturing like that. Sorry, let me see what time it is. Okay, all right, we're good. They're not. China's not going to give up that easily. They have over a billion people. But anyway, let's keep watching this video. It's scary.
It's only because they're forced to do so. Make no mistake, the U.S. will keep flip-flopping and playing hardball. But China will stand firm. No matter how hard the wind blows. No matter how clouds rage. The darker the night, the brighter the stars shine. Someone has to step forward, torch in hand, to shatter the fog and illuminate the path ahead. When every nation stands tall, the world will break through the walls of hegemony. For China, for the world, we must rise and fight on.
Not good. I would describe that video as not good. Some of the quotes from that video. Break the global hegemony. Now, I would say that is. I would say that is it fair to say the negotiations are not going well? Is it fair to say that I don't know who made that video. That could have just been some asshole. But and again, I don't know if that video taps into the actual how the Chinese actually feel about the tariffs, or if that's a minute percentage. But China is very nationalistic. They're a very nationalistic country, just like the U.S. And they are They are. I mean, here's the crazy thing. For the last 20 years, the academic elite have been writing blogs and articles and papers called the China threat. And you can only write so many papers titled the China threat ? Is China a threat or an opportunity ? You can only write so many articles like that before China gets mad. You know what I mean? You can't be like, how to face the China threat in a global economy. How to face the Chinese. It's like and again, I'm not trying to be too sympathetic to China because they do steal intellectual property. But here's the thing. No, laws are not real. It's the only thing that is real is power. And so when America comes out and says, China, it's not fair that China steals our IP. Our country was founded on theft. We are a nation founded on theft and genocide. So to come out and be like, well, it's not fair that China stole the blueprints for our electric car, and now they have an electric car, and they're not playing by the rules of international trade. International law is not real. Let's be clear. International law is not real. The only thing that's real is money and power. That is what controls society. Money, power, weapons. And so the fact that American politicians come out and try to pretend that China is like every American politician, they try to position it like, oh, China's a dirty player. They play dirty, and that's not fair. As if America doesn't nuke. We nuked Japan. That to me is playing pretty dirty. We nuked Japan twice. What's worse? Let me ask you a question, dear listeners. What is worse? Nuking Japan twice or stealing the blueprint for a semiconductor iPhone chip? Stealing a Wi-Fi. That's what they did. They stole Wi-Fi. China collecting data on where we are. I don't know. Can we pull up this article about China? I think it's more on how the trade negotiations are going. I think there's something here. Yes, this is it. Let's zoom in here. In viral video, Beijing. So this is a video we just watched. This is from the Wall Street Journal. In vivid video, Beijing vows not to, quote, kneel down to Washington. Foreign Ministry denounces, quote, bullying on terrorists and calls on other countries to isolate the U.S. as a small, stranded boat. And we are a small, stranded boat. We are, because of Trump, but honestly, it's not even just Trump. It's a lot of the policies that politicians over the last 15, 20 years have enacted that have made us a stranded boat. We're a small, stranded boat. And you know what China is? China is a yacht. China is a yacht. And they're hanging out with all the other boats in a big boat. China is that speedboat that flipped over. China, no, you know what? We are literally a small stranded boat. We are that boat in Arizona that wanted to go really fast. Let me cook. You know that boat in Arizona we just watched? That those two Klan members wanted to drive a boat at 210 miles per hour, and they didn't give a fuck about what anyone said. They're like, truly that could be a felony. Driving a speedboat at 210 miles an hour could be a felony. And they went in that boat and they said, fuck the world, fuck China, fuck you. I'm getting in my boat with my boy and I'm going to go 210 miles an hour and you can choke on my fucking dick. And they did it. And that is what the American foreign policy is right now. It's two dumb white guys that are like, fuck you, I'm going to go really fast. and I don't give a fuck what you say. That is what American foreign policy is. We want to go really fast, and we have tunnel vision. We are a small stranded. I think we are. I don't. And again, I'm not like I don't want America to fail, but we are. We're a small stranded boat. Have you ever been on a boat that's small and stranded? It's not fun. Think about that imagery. China call us a small. It's really hurtful. It's actually really hurt. I'm like really hurt that China would call us a boat. You know what happens to small stranded boats? They sink. They sink. Let's read some of this article. Let's see here. China signaled its resolve to stand up to President Trump's efforts to pressure Beijing into a settlement on trade, vowing in a social media video to never kneel down before U.S. coercion and urging other countries to resist. Now, here's where it all comes together, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, I think a few episodes I talked about soft power, and here's why here's I think why the strategy for this administration has been so fucking stupid. Is a few episodes I think I talked about how Doge was going around the federal government's budget, and it was saying, "Can you believe that we were funding salsa dance lessons in Sri Lanka? Cut, slashed. No more salsa dance lessons for Sri Lankans. No more HIV vaccines for Lesotho, people in Lesotho. No more condoms for Gaza." Like, that was like the kind of stuff that they're trying to slash. Well, there's an argument for whether or not, yes, I mean, look, there is waste in the federal government. It's a machine. It's a big machine, and there's going to be some waste. But on the flip side of that, you have what's called soft power, and that is why things that seem wasteful are not necessarily wasteful. Because guess what? When you are the imperial hegemony, like the U.S. is right now, when you're the imperial superpower, you have a choice. Either, and we're going isolationist, but you have a choice as the global hegemony, as the imperial nation. Either you use your wealth to create soft power in the rest of the world. Either you give condoms to Gaza and you do the salsa dance lessons for the Sri Lankans, which, by the way, I think that's cool. I would fund that myself. I send $100 a month to Sri Lanka because I want them to experience Latin culture. I think that's cool. No, I don't. For the record, I don't. But the thing is, if the U.S. doesn't give the money to Sri Lanka for salsa dance lessons, guess who's going to give them money? China. And it plays into the whole tariff game. Because guess what? Now when the U.S. is hitting China hard with these tariffs, China's going to go, it literally says it in the fucking article. China says they're never going to kneel down before U.S. coercion. And China's urging other countries to also resist. Okay, well, let's think about all the other countries. Those other countries are weak. And they want more power and they want more money for their own people. So who are they going to side with? Are they going to side with China? Like, it's Africa. China has been investing in telecom infrastructure in Africa for years. So are these African countries going to side with the people that have been, the country that has been building telecom infrastructure and internet, like China? Or are they going to side with the country that sends soldiers there to defend the lithium mines and blows kids' heads off when they don't mine lithium fast enough? I think we all know the answer to that. It's America. I'm kidding. It's China. It's obviously China. And so the real question is, does China have enough international leverage to put a dent in the U.S. put a dent in the U.S.'s coalition. And the thing is, we're actively reducing we're becoming an isolationist. We're becoming a small stranded boat. And honestly, guys, I don't want to be on a small stranded boat. I would much rather be on a Chinese yacht than a small stranded American boat. We're like a crew. We're like a Carnival cruise. America is a Carnival cruise that has ran out of gas, and we are rearranging chairs on. We're rearranging chairs on the Titanic. That's a quote. That's a corporate jargon quote. Can we scroll down a little bit here? Let's see if there's any other meat here. Okay. Beijing, bless you. Beijing has responded to Trump's tariffs by slapping 125% levies on American goods in retaliation to the U.S.'s 145% tariffs on Chinese products. Chinese officials have signaled a willingness to negotiate, but not under duress. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where this goes. You know what's sad about this, George? What's really sad is Canada's going to get bombed. We're going to be fighting with China, and Canada's going to get hit in the crotch. Vancouver's going to get nuked. That's the sad part about this, is that, like, the U.S., we're such assholes, and we're going to be like, fuck you, China. Fuck you. Fuck you. We're like little toddlers. And somehow Vancouver's going to get nuked. I don't know how. I just have a feeling. I have a feeling that somehow we're going to redirect I don't know what kind of tap now. We're going to redirect the nukes to Vancouver. And then Canada will go and side with China, and then we'll really be fucked. It's bad. It's been a very scary week. A lot of interesting things happened this week. I mean, you have a speedboat flipping over. What else do I have on there, George? We'll wrap it up with a fun one. Guys, thank you for listening to the show, by the way. We'll do one more story. My parents are in town, so I've been having to entertain my parents, which has been very fun. Oh, here, we'll end on this. We'll end on AI. So, here's the last headline. Meta is going to launch a ChatGPT competitor. And now I think they're very late to this market. You have this is a very hot market. Obviously, you have Claude, you have ChatGPT, you have Sean Riley. I'm actually an AI supercomputer. You can ask me anything in the YouTube comments and I'll answer you immediately. And so now you have Meta launching a standalone AI app. And this is not surprising. This is not a surprise. But what's interesting about it is the question is, Facebook, Instagram, Meta, they have untold amounts of data from the social media companies. We've all collectively contributed a truly almost an infinite amount of data to Meta. And so the question is, are they going to be using all the data that we've been giving it to inform their AI, and how will that change the Meta AI? So here's the story. After integrating Meta AI into WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and Messenger. Also, can I say this? Messenger is probably the worst app I've ever used in my life. That was such an idiotic. I don't know how Mark Zuckerberg I don't know how Meta has survived. Like, that was they've made so many idiotic decisions. Making a message. I haven't opened Messenger. I don't know anyone that uses Messenger. Messenger is like Facebook is, first of all, I don't know. Messenger is a dead app, in my opinion. I don't touch it. Facebook is just becoming Craigslist. I think people really only use Facebook for the marketplace now. Instagram is becoming LinkedIn. And WhatsApp is a Chinese psyop. So what is left? What does Meta have left to advertise? Let's see. To win over users, Meta is trying to leverage what makes it different from companies like OpenAI and Anthropic. Meta already has a sense of who you are. I love that. I love reading that. Listen to this, everyone. I love that, reading that. To win over users, Meta is trying to leverage what makes it different from other companies like OpenAI and Anthropic. Meta already has a sense of who you are. I don't want that. Who you hang out with based on years of data that you've likely shared on Facebook and Instagram. We did it, everyone. Awesome. Mark Zuckerberg knows who, get the breaking news. Mark Zuckerberg knows who you hang out with. I don't want that. But we all did it willingly. And that's the thing, is looking in hindsight, I think now it's clear what the social media companies did. They created a dopamine casino to harvest your data, to then push that data into a dystopian AI that will use your personality to sell you more ads. That is what it is. It's a dystopian AI that they will use. And by the way, I bet you one, if not all of these AI companies is going to contract with my favorite government agency, ICE. My favorite, those boys in blue. You want to know why the curtain's blue? Because I back the blue. Okay. I don't. I'll blow out the blue's back. I'll blow out the back. That was a joke about me gang raping an ICE agent. No, but I mean, truly, these companies are not. Here's what's so scary about the state of these AI companies, whether it be OpenAI, Anthropic, or Meta AI. In the most charitable view, they will harvest all of your data, which you agreed to give them, by the way, to sell you ads. That's the most charitable version of it, is they will violate your privacy so flagrantly so that they can sell you ads for like Viagra. That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario is they become government contractors where they use your data to give a fascist government warrants to deport you to a gulag in El Salvador. So that's why it's a good stock. I would buy these stocks. These are going to be really, no matter what, they're going to be very profitable. But I mean, maybe I'm being alarmist, but I don't think so. I wouldn't just say this if I didn't believe it. And I wouldn't just say it just to be alarmist and get views on social media. Or maybe I would. But I just have a hunch. But you know what? Maybe Mark Zuckerberg's actually a good guy. Because I saw Mark Zuckerberg fist bump a comedian recently. So maybe he's a good guy. You know what, everyone? Maybe I'm being alarmist. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg is actually one of us. You know what I mean? I saw Mark Zuckerberg fist bump a comedian. That makes me think he's a good guy. And you should think the same. Because you're a dumb fuck. And I know you're a dumb fuck. When I have Mark Zuckerberg on the show and I fist bump him, you guys all better be very nice in the comments. When I look, you guys should know this about me. I'm from Silicon Valley. I have a deep bench of the world's most evil tech billionaires. A deep bench. And I have not pulled the trigger on interviewing them. You thought I was going to say pull the trigger on killing them. I have not reached out to my Rolodex of tech billionaires, but I may do so very soon. And when they come on the show, you better be very graceful and you better be very grateful that they took time out of their busy schedules selling your data to ICE. That's what Mark Zuckerberg did. He went on a comedy podcast, a comedian's show, and he said, and the comedian, I'm not going to name names because I'm not petty. I'm being a little petty. Mark Zuckerberg is going on all these shows and he's going, hi, great to be here. I took time out of my busy day selling your data to fascists to talk about whether I'm a tits guy or an ass guy. Imagine having like Goering on a comedy podcast. Like imagine having one of Hitler's like top brass on a comedy podcast and being like, so Goering, are you a tits guy or ass guy? I can't do German accents. But like that's where we're at. And so I want to put this out there just as an artist. Don't let me, I'm really going to try hard to not become that. I don't want to sell out. I never want to do ads on the show. I never want to interview people because it'll get more views. That's never what I want this to be, because when you become that, you forgot people. I think there's just a lot. It's just, and I get it, because a lot of comedians, they grow up poor and they grow up with fucking nothing. And when they build an empire and when they build and they become wealthy, they want to sustain that. And I think it's a survival thing. So I'm not saying I'm not trying to like condemn them or say that I have zero sympathy for them, because when you get that big, I don't think, it's this is for you guys to understand too. Like when you create an actual like audience and a business around that audience, you have employees, you have family, you have friends, you have people relying on you. And so it becomes more complicated. You know what I mean? And that's why it's like right now, like, I always want to retain the like burn it all down mentality. Like I don't need you. I'll burn it all down and start over. Like, fuck you. But when you have like people relying on you and you have a family, and it's like, then all of a sudden it's like, well, I guess I'll have Mark Zuckerberg on because it'll help me sustain my business. Now, I still don't think that that's a sufficient excuse to have him on. Because you're rich. You're rich. And yeah, maybe you grew up poor, but you're rich now. And you don't need the money or the views. And you certainly don't need to fist bump him. Why are you fist bumping Mark Zuckerberg? I thought we were comedians. I thought we were comedians. I guess not. I guess we don't believe anything. Right? I don't know why other people get into this business. I got in this business to get rich and fist bump Mark Zuckerberg. Okay? Let's make one thing very clear. I got in this business. I spent years going to shitty dive bars, talking into a mic for people that are passed out at a dive bar, not listening, because I one day wanted to share the same rarefied air as the Silicon Valley elite. That is the end goal for all comedians now, is to get in the same room as venture capitalists, Silicon Valley elite. That is what it is. It's to hang out with the CEO of Uber. That is the goal of that's for some reason that's what every comedian wants now, is they want to hang out with CFOs. Can we make one thing clear, that's crazy? It's crazy that comedians, when they get rich, all they want to do is hang out with CFOs. Why do you want to hang out with CFOs? I know CFOs. They suck. They're boring. They're not good people. They don't have morals. Do you understand? There's the CFO. They destroy lives. They don't care about you. And comedians, for some reason, think it's cool and sexy to hang out. Comedians, for some reason these days, think it's sexy to hang out with politicians and fist bump tech CEOs. It's not cool. You're a fucking pussy, and you sold out, and you're a fucking coward. It's time to introduce our next guest, Mark Zuckerberg, everybody. What? No. That was a pump fake. Wouldn't that be crazy? Mark, come on in. I'm like, Lee, first of all, if you interact at all with politicians or entrepreneurs or billionaires, you're a fucking sellout pussy. Our next guest, Alex Karp, the CEO of Palantir, the drone company. My next guest is the CEO of a company of an evil data center. All right, that was enough preaching for one day, guys. That's the show. I'm super behind on the Patreon. I'm sorry. I'm like 4 weeks behind. I really shouldn't be saying this on the main show. I'm 4 weeks behind on the Patreon, but I'm gonna make it up to you guys. I've been really busy, but working on getting some cheddar, some cash. If you like the show, follow the show on Spotify. Give me a review on Spotify. Like, subscribe on YouTube. Give me a comment. Follow the show on Instagram, Sean Show Podcast. Links in the description for everything. And I'm on the road. I'm in Columbus. I'm headlining Columbus. The ticket link is not live yet, but look out for that on my Instagram. I'm going to Columbus and I'm going to Dallas. This coming later this year. So come check out I was just looking at my show dates. Check it out. And we'll see you next week. Have a great one. Subscribe to the Patreon. $5 a month. You get extra episodes. I will catch up on those. And, I'll see you guys in Canada or hell. It's the same place. All right. Bye.